You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy.
And now, the hunt for the perfect album.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hunt for the Perfect Album with Billy and Dave, where this week it was Dave's turn, and why don't you tell the people what shit you threw at me like a monkey in a zoo?
I can barely fucking remember. I
Give you a hint,
believe
she's bald.
I believe it was the debut album from Irish songstress Sinéad O'Connor, The Lion and the Cobra.
That is the album. Is this her debut album? I actually did not know that. Interesting.
I think she was 20 when it actually released.
Right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Sinéad O'Connor and your relationship with her? Was this the first album that you had heard from her?
I think so. I was in high school. I'm pretty sure I heard probably Mandinka and some of the singles, and I can't remember when I actually got the album itself. I don't think I owned it then, probably early years of uni.
Yeah.
I picked it up. Troy used to feature pretty highly in the Triple J Hottest 100 every year. I think it used to sit around sort of 8 or 9 in the top 10 back when it was the hottest 100 of all time before they fucking ruined it.
Yeah.
I've always loved her. I love her kind of don't give a fuck attitude. She does, always did what she wanted, regardless of, trying to make money or be successful, which I kind of dig when artists do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into it. As I said when you gave this to me, I don't really know much of Sinéad O'Connor. I mean, I know nothing compares to you. My expectations were that she was very kind of world music, kind of an ethereal vibe.
Oh, you were expecting Enya.
Yes.
Oh,
or like
okay.
Bjork,
Wow.
I guess. That's what I thought Sinéad O'Connor was. And I was absolutely wrong. I threw this album on, and track 1 has almost like an indie pop Primitives kind of vibe. And from there we get quite, not punk rock, but there's a lot more heaviness on this album than I expected.
There is a bit of the punk to her sensibility, certainly.
Yeah.
I remember the day the young man came, said your Jackie's gone, we are lost in the rain, and I ran to beach and laid me down.
So I dug a lot of this album. I'm not going to say that I loved every track. I do think that in the back half, it is more what I expected it to be. There is kind of some world music elements to it, and I don't dislike it. Like you say, what I like about this album is that this is well and truly just Sinéad O'Connor doing what she wants to do. This is not her trying to be a pop star or anything. It's the same reason I enjoy Liz Phair, for example. It's just like, this is how I write music, and this is the music I want to play, and I really dig that about her. And you brought up Mandinka as maybe the first track you'd heard, and that's a banger. I really like that song.
I'm dancing with 7 bells, watching the pig of my star. See how the black moon fades, soon I can give you my heart.
I'm guessing you have a favourite track on this album.
100%. This is kind of like when we did the Doors and the end was there. It's 100%. It's Troy.
Troy.
Probably one of my top, I don't know, 30, 40 songs ever. I love it.
Yeah, right. Well, the bangers continue because Jerusalem, I think, is fucking awesome. I really like this song.
It's one of my favorites.
Went down and the lady said it. Got taller down and the priestess said it. Got burned out. They give me 5 years. 5 years. It's my turn.
I really love the musicality of that track. If you kind of picture that with a British goth with a very affected accent singing it, you've kind of got like the top era Cure going on there. Big fan. Then we get to our first kind of ballad of the album, Just Like You Said It Would Be, which starts all acoustic, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Cranberries. Maybe that's just the Irishness of it.
I think while the bands have obviously, and Sinead O'Connor and the Cranberries have a slightly different style, I think Dolores O'Riordan and Sinead O'Connor, beautiful voices, but they're not afraid to punk it up and raspy.
Yeah. 100%. So this was another track that I actually really, really enjoyed. So here we are, I guess, track 5 out of 10 or something, and I've liked all of them quite a tremendous amount.
When you close my eyes, babe, I can see most everything. I can see most everything.
So it did, though, take me a few listens to get into this album, as you know, because the first time, because we actually went to record this, like 2 full months ago now.
Yep.
And at the time, I had only listened to it once or twice, and I said, look, I don't love the album yet. And
I think you said, we can record now.
yes.
But I'm not going to be very kind.
But I need some time. And one thing that I said to you at the time was that a big part for me is that I find it quite hard in these songs to discern the lyrics. And because you had spent a lot of time talking about Sinead O'Connor's writing, her lyricism, and how great she is at that. And I must say, I still have no idea. She may as well be singing the Jabberwocky for all I know, because there's something about. Look, I think I'm going deaf in my old age, particularly for a certain tone of voice, and she does tend to sing in the same kind of register. Like you spoke about her kind of rasping it up, but it's more of like a punky whisper than a rasp, if that makes sense. It's quite breathy, it's quite high pitched, and so I don't know virtually any of the lyrics from this album. So that's kind of my one big issue with it, really, is that I feel like I'm unable to comment on that. And then we get into Never Get Old, which is the first kind of worldy music track.
And weirdly, from memory, we start with the previously mentioned Enya rather than Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, well, and the opening of this song reminds me a lot of Superman by Laurie Anderson. The ha 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 ha, which
it's very breathy, almost spoken. It's
which I find
we don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
I find a bit irritating. So this is the first track on the album that I just get almost no enjoyment out of. I'm not a huge fan of this track at all.
Must be the only thing that I never can do no harm. Sunset on the avenue.
Are you a fan of that one?
I mean, I like all of it. It's not one of my favorites, probably on the album. But I don't dislike any track, obviously. So,
Yeah.
but definitely not one of the high points on the album for me, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Let's leave Troy to play the episode out on. Because again, I don't love I Want Your Hands on Me.
I want your hands on me. You know,
It's just not my vibe. Like, it's fine. So I will be honest, while I really enjoy the first half of this album, the back half predominantly just doesn't do it for me. I don't hate Drink Before the War. I don't hate Just Call Me Joe. They're not my favorites on the album. I think Just Call Me Joe is a weak song to end on. But I mean, I really like the first half of this album so much, and I like what Sinead O'Connor is doing. Like I said, she's just playing the music she wants to play, and that is something I respect so much that I am definitely going to dig in her discography, which seems extensive.
Yeah, she's. I love that. So when she wrote these, she was a teenager. So she would have been writing these when she was 19, sort of just turning 20, and then sort of a year of production. I think it came out when she was late 20s, maybe 21. But she didn't reportedly like what the producer that was assigned by the label was doing.
Interesting.
And so every night she would go home and kind of memorize the levels that she wanted her voice at by just practicing.
Yeah.
So that when the next day in the studio, she could sing at the level she wanted.
Interesting. Right. Because I actually really enjoy the production of this album. I actually think that it's produced and mixed really well. I love a lot of the synth work. Like I said, there are elements there that really, really remind me of The Cure. I don't know. I'm assuming, is there actually a band on this album? Like, does she have at least studio musicians? Or because there's definitely elements of synth.
Yeah. I don't know. I think she had one or two friends playing, but I'm sure that the label would have, because she kind of had the backing of, I'm not sure if it was Bono or The Edge. She had a couple of kind of big people from the Irish music industry kind of in her corner, which is why she kind of got the label and et cetera behind her. I'm sure they probably assigned session musicians to pad out because there's a lot of stuff going on there.
There's heaps, which is why I wasn't sure how much of it was just like a producer sitting in a room playing with things, or whether
I think there definitely was a producer assigned, but she didn't like. She thought that the producer was kind of derailing what she wanted from it, and so I think she just didn't have the clout to be able to fire him or anything, so she just worked in the background to change things back to how she wanted.
Yeah. So all in all, I am a fan of this album. I personally wouldn't call it a perfect album, but that said, the songs that I don't love on it, I know have much more to do with my personal taste than they do a problem with the songs.
Yeah, and
like, as I said, I'm definitely going to dig into Sinead's discography, and it's really made me respect and appreciate her as an artist that I knew virtually nothing about prior to this. Like, Sinead O'Connor is one of those names that you can picture her in your head.
And an iconic looking person.
Yes, and yet outside of, Nothing Compares to You, I didn't really have any kind of knowledge of her. But she's definitely what you would call an artist, I think. Like, this album, even though it's very different in a million ways, it reminded me a bit of Laurie Anderson in that it's just a woman who's clearly good at songwriting, doing whatever it is she wants to do.
Just an iconoclast in this is, I don't care if I fit into a category or whatever. I'm just me.
Exactly. So I'm a 7 out of 10. Like, this is especially, like, I loved the first 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean, 5, 6 tracks on this album, really. It's just the back half that kind of falls apart for me. And it's not, I don't think it's weak, it's just not really
it's not
my
for you.
vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so big fan of this album. So yeah, good
awesome.
job.
Nice.
I'm going to give you something next week that I think is a bit similar in some ways, but also kind of as different as you could get. I'm giving you, you must be familiar. Are you familiar with Neutral Milk Hotel?
Is that
You look blank.
a skin regime or?
Right. Okay. I thought for sure you'd know about them. Their album, which I think is their second album.
Neutral Milk Hotel.
Neutral Milk
not
Hotel.
biased Milk Hotel.
I believe it's their second album, In an Airplane Over the Sea, which is a very kind of famous, influential album in certain circles, I guess. And I guess I run in those circles. Quite indie. I would define it as psychedelic folk, so I'm hoping that you like it. It's very
sounds
folk
promising.
influenced, but there's lots of kind of psychedelic elements to it.
Okay.
And again, I think it's a great example of people just writing the music that they want to write. So stylistically, it's very different to this. I'm not sure that you'll love every track. I bet that you won't. But I'm hoping that you appreciate it enough, at least in the same way that I appreciate this. So that's what I'm giving you next week.
Neutral Milk Hotel it is.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I'm going to play us out with a little bit of Troy. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at pottymouthradio.com once we pay for the website again. Or pottymouthradio@gmail.com. Go join the Facebook listener community because that's always live. And let's play out with some Troy.
Zuckerberg's free.
I remember it in Dublin in a rainstorm. We're sitting in the long grass in summer, keeping warm. I remember it every restless night. We were so young then, we thought that everything we could possibly do was right. And we moved, stolen from our very eyes. And I wondered where you went to, and tell me.